I'm to find out, can you beat Fallout 3's Leatherface? For my gender, I chose boy, because this isn't no Hollywood remake. Then, I typed in my name, Leatherface, as you can guess. Not really groundbreaking, I don't think. As then, I don't know what I was going for. I tried to make him look ugly, because he needs to wear a mask. I thought it made sense to me, so I made that frog monstrosity. I set my intelligence to 1, because he is mentally disabled in the movies. And I focused on strength and endurance for obvious reasons. Then, 9 years had passed. I tried to talk to Butch, but for some reason, he didn't yell at me. Like, he didn't try to take the sweet roll, so I just skipped past it. As then, I killed a rad roach, failing the run. By the way, the rules of the run are, I can only wear leather armor, I need a ghoul mask, and I am only allowed to fight using the Ripper. So I chose repair to repair it, but there's not a lot of items like the Ripper, so that's kind of a waste of a choice, not gonna lie. So now it's time for me to escape the vault and find out where my dad's gone. As then Butch begged me to help his mom, I told him to screw off, and then I just left. Leaving the vault's not that hard. All you gotta do is run away while getting chased and hack this terminal. Turns out there's a password, you don't need to hack it, but I didn't really know that, so whoops. After leaving the vault, the challenge can finally start. But this challenge is going to be more difficult than you think. And that's because I set the difficulty to very hard, because Fallout 3 is a very easy game, so I might as well make it as hard as possible. There's no hardcore like in New Vegas and Fallout 4 though. So I did what every normal citizen does. I rigged a bomb to explode and decided to kill everyone there, because why not? But before that, I needed my weapon, so I went to Jack Smith's house, who is a cannibal, who has a Ripper in his basement. As then I took the Ripper, which is basically like a chainsaw on a stick, so Leatherface's chainsaw basically went on a diet. So yeah, after getting the Ripper, I got some popcorn and watched a mass explosion. It's so beautiful if you forget about the thousands of people I just murdered. After watching Kingdom Come once again, I then went down to the subway station and tested the Ripper on some ghouls. Now, to get the ghoul mask, I'm going to have to help out Roy Phillips. And I could do things peacefully, but my speech is low. So, the best way to do it is to help the ghouls in. But there's a problem. You need a science skill of at least 25 to let all the failure ghouls in. However, there's another way. So I went to River City to buy some leather armor, as I'll need it for what comes next. And what comes next is a slaughter fest. Their guns did do a lot of damage to me, but I was able just to stagger them and then knock them down. You see, the Ripper is actually a really good weapon, but it degrades really fast, which is the greatest downfall of this challenge. As I ripped them to shreds, they couldn't really do much but shoot me, which I guess is actually a lot now that I think about it. But anyway, I then went outside to deal with the guards outside. They didn't pose much of a threat. The only problem with this weapon, and any melee weapon in fact, is when they run away, they can shoot you, and that does hurt. Usually it wouldn't matter if I had better armor, but I am wearing literal leather as I'm getting shot at by semi-automatics. But after killing the guards, it was time to kill some old people, and the old people can run fast apparently. Oh my god, anytime I ripped someone, they would just run super fast, and it would take me forever to catch them. That was kind of annoying, but eventually I met an old person who didn't run. Mr. Tenpenny himself, who tried to kill me with a sniper rifle. And no joke, somehow, he missed me 5 times when he was 2 feet in front of me. I wish I would have recorded that part. Anyway, after dealing with Tenpenny Tower, I then went to Roy Phillips, told her I killed the fascist autocrats living there, and I finally got the ghoul mask. Now, I could kill the ghouls here, but the ghouls have suffered enough, and now that I have the ghoul mask, I feel like I am one of them, so I feel like I won't kill them. After that, it was time to deal with the super mutants and go into the GNR building, as I did my favorite strategy, hiding from the behemoth, letting the Brotherhood do most of the work. When the behemoth was almost dead though, I did sneak up behind it and get the last kill, stealing it from the Brotherhood and taking all the credit for myself. Nice. It did feel satisfying to watch the behemoth fall. After that, I met with 3 Dog as I took a quest from him, as it was time for me to clear out more super mutants and get the satellite dish for 3 Dog's radio. So after drilling through some super mutants, which is always nice, there's a lot of super mutants in Fallout 3 by the way, I then installed the dish and 3 Dog's radio was online. As I set up the radio online, I realized I haven't really gone on a rampage in a while, and that's where I made my biggest mistake, as I decided to kill 3 Dog and the Brotherhood soldiers. And this is a mistake because, well, this actually broke the game later on, but I'll explain that later. For now, I get to die a lot from Brotherhood Knights. It makes sense. I am trying to fight them with a saw on a stick and leather clothes, and they have steel armor and laser guns. But I was able to persevere, and eventually I won the fight. It did take countless tries and me running in and out, because I did die a lot. But eventually, I was able to win, and then I went to talk to Dr. Lee, the female dog of Fallout 3, as I went to the Jefferson Memorial to deal with more super mutants. The brutes did put up more of a fight than your average super mutant, but I was still able to saw them down one by one. As then I collect the notes that my dad left and found out he was stranded in a vault. I mean, I could have just skipped there, but I like doing it by the main quest because, well, it gives me more content and makes the video longer. As now I went in Control D Lane, and this is going to be a controversial decision, but I didn't want to just skip past the simulation, and technically none of this is real, so I'm going to allow myself to not use the Ripper. Since this is a simulation, nothing happens here is real, so I'm just going to say I'm allowed to do whatever I want here, and that'll be the only exception. So, I made a kid cry by beating him up, as since I'm a perv, I decided to steal some women's underwear and put them on a desk to sniff later. Some woman found out, so I framed her husband and got them divorced, and coincidentally, apparently that's what I needed to do for the quest. Hip hip hooray for me and strange coincidences. After that, I made the chandelier fall down on a poor woman and kill her, because I had to kill her, but I couldn't use the fun way of, just slicing and dicing. Sometimes it's fun to enjoy your work. I then became the pint-sized slasher and was actually able to do something fun for once in the game. As then I woke up back to reality, realized I was back to the Ripper, and I told my dad off, but he didn't care, and the story made me go to Jefferson Memorial anyway. So then I had to clear out more super mutants. I could have just cleared them all out before I called my dad in, but I don't really think well ahead, I guess. Anyway, it's not that big of a deal. A super mutant did run away from me, though, which kind of shocked me because I don't remember them ever running from you. And a few brute bit harder to chop than the rest, but I still managed to chop them down very nicely. As then I somehow glitched the game and caused a super mutant to levitate. Honestly, that's terrifying. As then, after doing some tasks, the Enclave came to steal the equipment, just like normal. As then I fought some Enclave soldiers, and the Ripper did amazing against them. My armor, though, did not, which is to be expected. After that, I watched how a centaur glitched through the wall and was doing some sort of weird dance, and apparently my father died or something. I don't know, I was too distracted on whatever the heck was going on above me, to be honest with you. After watching my father die, I then snuck into the tunnels and waited behind a wall instead of fighting the Enclave so I can go past. Dr. Lee informed me that some of the scientists had some trouble with their heart condition, so I knew how to deal with that. After talking to Madison Lee, I agreed to help by killing him. After all, if you're not alive, you can't have any heart conditions, can you? But he ran away fast. It took me a long time to catch him. I do not know why, but Fallout 3, it feels like you're running in butter, and everyone else is a cheetah when you're trying to chase them. Is that just me, or does anyone else get that experience? Anyway, eventually I was able to catch up to him and slice and dice. That feels good. Dr. Lee called me a monster for killing him, and honestly, I didn't know those special dialogue for that, so that's cool. After that, I talked to Scribe Rothschild, but before I went to get the GECK, I decided to pay my little vault a visit by having some nice tea and crumpets with people around me. But then I realized something. They hated me. They called me a freak. They kicked me out. So it's time that I kill them all, one by one. As I killed the vault security, eventually I met up with Butch again to have a good rematch. And for some reason, Butch was one of the hardest opponents to fight. Not in damage, but it was just super hard for me to do any damage to him because he would block every swing I put against him. Eventually, though, I was able to deal with Butch. As Butch fell down dead alongside with his mother, it was time for me to deal with the problem. As I dealt with Mare, who was causing a resistance against her father, so after I killed her, everything was good. At least that's what the leader of the vault told me. You see, after I killed his daughter and murdered Butch, he told me good job and leave, which shocked me. Apparently he didn't give a crap that I murdered his own daughter. So I murdered him. I mean, I was going to do it anyway, but a monster too, so I might as well get rid of him. After all, there can only be one monster around here. After dealing with the overseer, it was time for me to go to Paradise Falls. You see, I did not have nearly enough charisma to get the Child at Heart perk. So instead, I decided to clear out the slavers and free the kids. But this would be easier said than done, because these guys have some decent armor and some weapons that tear my leather armor to shreds, so I would have to go slowly and take them on one-on-one. Taking out the guards outside of Paradise Falls wasn't too difficult. After all, there was only 2 of them, so as long as I could stun lock one of them, everything was alright, because then they couldn't attack me. But now it's time that I go inside the facility. So, to say about this is, once inside Paradise Falls, they would all focus on me, so the only way I can get to them is to try to lure them to me one by one and slice and dice them. Which, eventually, I just had to run in there because they stopped charging after me, but I had a strategy. I would lose a bunch of health, I would leave, go back to Tenpenny Tower, go to bed, then I would go back. I used the power of sleep to kill them. And it went pretty well. I did die a few times, but most of the time I died is because of my own stupidity and me getting too cocky and refusing to use stim packs, even though I definitely had enough money for them, so that's on me. Eventually, though, I was able to clear them all out. Then it was time to free the kids from captivity. I probably should have got the perk for Child at Heart, because that probably would have fit really well with Leatherface's character. But, you know, I didn't think about that till halfway through the video, so too late for that now. Anyway, after freeing the kids, Mayor McCready let me in, and I had to go through Murder Pass because I was not smart enough to hack any terminal. But I did have lots of stim packs, so I was ready. After running through some super mutants, eventually I made it to the vault. Since the river has terrible durability, and there was no way I could get it repaired here, I only had one solution. Run past all the super mutants and simply grab the deck. Luckily, I got a perk that made me 20% resistance towards radiation, and I bought a lot of Rad-X and Rad-Away, so I was hoping that this would be enough for me to get the GECK, and if it wasn't, then I guess I would just be screwed. But I managed to get the GECK, pick it up, and bring it out. But let's be honest, we all know what's about to happen next, but before then, just look at all those super mutants. They were chasing me. I felt like a Scooby-Doo scene. But after referencing Scooby-Doo, I got captured by the Enclave. And the Enclave wanted the GECK. Obviously. Do I have to explain this part? I mean, we've all played the games. After that, I told Colonel Autumn F you twice. Leatherface probably wouldn't say that, but it is what it is. After that, I picked the Cannibal perk. A great perk that definitely fits my character. After that, I used Strength to intimidate an officer, which I didn't even know that was an option until now, so you learn something new every day. I then talked to John Henry Eden and agreed to poison the Purifier. So then I decided to eat some Enclave officers and soldiers because I needed to get some good use out of the Cannibal perk, and I was almost completely out of stim packs, so I had to play things really carefully. After that, I decided to go out and kill some hippies in the Oasis, because the whole challenge is me to killing people's Leatherface, but I haven't gone on any rampages yet, besides when I killed 3 dogs, so I decided to fix that, as I would go to some towns and murder everyone there. Starting with hippies because, well, why not? They worship a tree that wants to die, so I might as well kill them because since they don't wear much for armor, I assume they will be extremely easy, and boy, was I actually right. Their weapons did a bit of damage to me, but at this point in the game, I did get some high toughness resistance, and I managed to also buy a lot of stim packs, so they didn't affect me too much. Now it was time for the hard part, River City. As then I began to chop the guards outside. They tried to put up a fight, but me just spinning around them as they shot at me managed to be a good counter, because apparently they can't turn around and shoot behind them. And I also managed to stagger a few of them. After killing the guards, I then decided to kill the homeless person who needed water, because you can't need water when you're dead. So I just solved world hunger. After that, I killed all the River City residents inside the shop. And one of them did have a mini nuke that blew me up a few times, but once I got him alone by himself, he was pretty easy to deal with. As not gonna lie, this was actually kind of fun, just chopping them to bits and to pieces. One of them couldn't really die, so I had to run out there. Then after that, I decided to go to Big Town and kill the remaining people there. I didn't want to kill everyone in the game because I feel like that would take too long, and I want to save that for a murder everyone run. I know everyone has done it, but it's just a really fun challenge to do, and I feel like everyone should at least do one of them. As then I murdered all the residents one by one, systematically destroying them. They did manage to run from me pretty quick, which I guess is pretty fitting for my character now that I think about it. Now it's time I finally fight the Enclave, or so I thought. You see, Liberty Prime had some issue. For whatever reason, Liberty Prime would not move. So yeah, I didn't really know what to do. As you can see in the background, Liberty Prime was shooting lasers, so I thought his AI was just fine, and maybe it took a while. But after just waiting for minutes and minutes on end, he wouldn't move. I looked up how to fix the bug, and it was console commands or drag a dead body through the bridge. But the guy who died, I killed at 3 Dog Studio, and he's chopped into bits, so I couldn't drag his whole body out. So I decided to try to skip the main mission entirely and just go straight up to the Jefferson Memorial, but I couldn't because there was force fields there. So, after reloading, console commands, and trying everything, I couldn't get Liberty Prime to work, proving no, I guess you can't beat Fallout 3 as Leatherface. Hope you all enjoyed this video. This challenge was suggested to me by Casual Loop 25, and if that name sounds familiar, it's because he has his own channel. He makes really great stuff. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Peace out. Hope you enjoyed the video.